The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered 12. Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the book. He is Dave Sherapan. I am Matt Perrault, and you guys picked a great day to watch the show today because we are live on YouTube at Boston versus the book, the same on Twitter X, replayed on Sports Grid Television and Sirius XM channel 159. Chris Andrews, the man, the myth, not even the myth, the author himself is coming on the program, director of the sports book at the South Point.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go to New Orleans. The boys from the locker room make their debut. A little South Jersey, Philadelphia feel. They are there to cover the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Dave, how are you on this Wednesday?
I'm good. Yeah, Billy Schweim, the Schweimer from the locker room. I've been going on their show on Saturday mornings, so they do a good job. Their team got in, so they got to come to the Super Bowl. So we're going to, check in with them. Yesterday, Raheem killed it from his hotel in New Orleans. Today, hopefully Billy will be able to get it all set up and join us here shortly. And then Chris is going to come on, just talk about the Super Bowl and what's going on at the South Point. I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but Chris put out a tweet with what's going on at the South Point. We're going to ask him specifically about that.
I didn't see it. What's going on?
Oh, baby. Oh, it was.
What are they doing? Better than $2 hot dogs?
Everything's the same price. They're not charging for seats.
Wow.
It's $2 hot dogs. It's $3 cheeseburgers. It's like somebody equated it to the Masters prices.
I like it. I like the idea.
Old school is cool.
It is.
We'll talk about that at the South Point. It was great because, South Point does get it, Chef B. So, we'll have Chris on to talk about that and, how the action's been and all that other stuff. So, loaded show. I mean, we're not in New Orleans, but I still feel like we got a little bit of the feel for the Super Bowl and everything that's going on. But, there's some good basketball games going on. The Red Wings won again yesterday. That's the hottest team in hockey. The world doesn't stop because of the Super Bowl. That's one of the things I think we've stressed on here. We keep going, always forward, never straight, wherever we're at. And we hinted at a below the Mason-Dixon line little trip. We're working on it, boys. Wherever you're at in that area, might be Tennessee, might be Kentucky, might be what's the state next to that? Ohio? Could be anywhere there. I don't know yet. We'll let you know.
I want to start the show before we get to the guys who are going to click on from New Orleans and who are from 93.7. We got an email that I want to read to the audience, and I want to get it to you. You guys can always send us emails. If you're watching live, the scroll below us has our email address. It's askthebvb@gmail.com. And so Michael sent this in to ask you a question about what happened last night in the NBA. Because you had talked about the opportunity to go ahead and do some cool things with the in-game betting. So I thought we'd start the show with that today.
Excellent.
I think a lot of people have similar questions.
I thought you were going to hit us with a little Joey email.
Joey it's not a little
has
Joey.
Consistently emailed us maybe every day for like a year.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Little Joey, we got to give you a hat tip, man. Your consistency, your excitement in your emails. When I get to it, even if it's at like 3:00 in the morning, I get filled with energy. So what is this email?
Okay, so it's from Michael Levy. He says, "What's up, Matt and Dave? Dave, I met you in the hallway at Bet Bash one day. You had a D-backs jersey on it, and I was getting comments from passing jabronis as usual. We talked about the business a little bit, little life back east as a girl dad, though my girls are 3 and 1, little younger than you guys. It was cool meeting you, and you're the same off air like some aren't. Matt, I hope to meet you someday and say hello sometime. Dave, would you mind walking me through your strategy again for the NBA in live betting? I'll ask last night's Boston-Cleveland game. He said, I'll hit you guys with a super chat soon enough. Okay. I know you like plus on both sides, but with Boston at +2 pregame, it didn't make sense to take them early in the game at +2. In turn, I took Cleveland at +2.5, too early, ? Wait for the ceiling, ? Right. And then at +7.5. It then rose to 12.5, but I didn't want to keep digging, which is always the conundrum. Of course, that ended up being a good value in the end. Lastly, do you try and come back with Boston at -4 or 5 if you're sitting on a +7.5 or 12.5, or do you hold until it goes plus the other way? I know it's a spot debate. Just a refresh would be awesome. If you guys end up coming up east for a show in New Jersey, especially Philly, I will be there if I'm able to. I'm Long Island Mike in the chat, but don't live there anymore. Keep up the good work and grind. It's a tough business. You guys are a breath of fresh air, and part of my day, walks, drives with the kids to and from daycare. Yours, Mike.
Love it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the email. I do remember meeting you. You got a long road with them little girls. I can tell you that right now. 3 and 1. It's good that you're listening in the car and we're talking, and occasionally we will drop a swear word or two. They don't know what it means yet. That's good. Right. And, we try to preface it with the hashtag sorry, Will, which has taken the chat by storm, because Will is our producer back east who keeps us on the air, albeit late night on Sports Grid and Sirius XM. So good question. I liked Boston pregame too yesterday, where you take the +2. Now, you can go in for the middle. I would not do it with a 2-point middle like each side. So the first bet might have been a little bit early. Yes. The 7.5, you know how I feel about the 7 in the NBA. If you can get over 7, that's usually good, especially in a competitive game. That game wasn't competitive until late. I don't recommend. Now, I've seen it and I've done it when I was just starting to do it in betting. And if you get loose or on tilt, you can go 3, 4, 5, 6 bets deep and it can bury you. You can start with a really good bet and you're trying for this middle and you ruin the night. So sometimes you do sit and hold with a good bet on Boston. Double digits usually in the NBA between two good teams is always, not always good, but it's always a good bet. Doesn't always win. Now, last night it probably would have gone 2, maybe max 3. Like, don't chase. That's the epitome of chasing when you're doing that. And that's the danger of in-game betting that nobody's really talking about. And it can bury you. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen guys do it. And there's a lot of guys that work on the other side of the counter that call it like the crack cocaine of betting, the in-game stuff. Because if you're not disciplined and you can, risk the whole account, that's no good. So, I mean, whatever that unit is, you can go for it. Now, as far as coming back on Boston, if you got the +2 and they're winning pretty much the whole game, a short money line is a better bet. Lay 150, lay 170, rather than worrying about falling in the middle or middling yourself. You never want to do that. It's called the Polish middle. Nothing personal, but that's what it's called. It's what it's called. Nothing, that's what it is. Where the game could fall in a number and you lose both. The middle is supposed to win both sides. So you start maybe in a nice little money line on Boston, and then build that crescendo on the other side where any scenario 1 through 10 wins both. That's how you do it. But I mean, you got to be fast, because in the NBA lines, I mean, I'm just, watching it and doing it on Sports Grid every night and still doing it, betting. P-Roll, I mean, we've been at the games and it's hard to get a bet in.
I just think you have to bet during commercial breaks with the NBA. Like, you cannot bet when action's going on, because.
Oh, wow. That's like a big pause right there. Hold. Mikey's going to kill you with that face. That one. Your eyes were half open.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You have to bet during commercial breaks because in game, when it comes to the latency for TNT versus ESPN versus ABC versus local versus rabbit ears, like the way you're consuming it, if you're streaming it, the delay is pretty bad in the NBA. Like it's 35, 45 seconds at times. So I say you never can do it unless you're in a commercial break or after a first quarter at halftime. Like you just cannot bet when the play is going on your screen. You cannot be betting in game. You're betting into a market that's not, it's already gone.
You're
Like
better off not watching the game.
True.
To be perfectly honest, like
Yeah.
you have to kind of anticipate, but then you put the trust in the score bug, which isn't always right either. So you need to watch the game to at least kind of get a feel for it. But the latency thing is, I mean, at some point somebody's got to say something legit about it.
I'll give DraftKings credit. I mean, DraftKings, if you're watching an app, even if you don't bet on DraftKings and you bet on someone else's app, DraftKings' score is the most accurate. It's the most up to speed in terms of close to gameplay to actual what the game is from a line perspective. Like when I'm watching, I actually kind of spoil what I'm watching a lot of times. I'm watching it on DraftKings and I'm watching the DraftKings app because I know what happens before I'm seeing it. And it's, I love doing it with Flash Score for hockey. I love this, but basketball with DraftKings is at least 15 seconds ahead of most broadcasts that I'm watching. And in basketball, that's a lot. I mean, that's 2 or 3 possessions in the NBA. So it's a different score. So that's, you just got to be aware of what you're betting into because the market is not what you see on the screen is much different.
You have to anticipate it. That's the other thing. And you get a feel for doing it. I mean, you can do it for as little as $2. Just do it for practice. Do $2 a bet, $2 a bet, $2 a bet, $2 a bet. And you'll learn how it works before you get in, serious or, doing it for $5 or $10. I mean, but you could, it's crazy how fast, if you make bets, how you can get in for, $10 a bet, you make 10 bets on a game. Okay. Now you have $100 at risk. And so it can go however your units are. But yeah, I spoiled my nephew when I went down for the Fiesta Bowl. We sat at the sports book. I showed him the app because I said, all you have to do today is root for Detroit against the Niners, the last game. I said, and if Detroit wins, you're going to get $20. Oh, and he's rooting like crazy. And then I looked down and I said, he goes, we need a first down right here. I said, oh, we're good. Relax. Don't worry. He's like, what do you mean? And I showed him. He's like, this is like magic, Uncle Dave. I said, yeah, it is. So it was fun.
Yeah, it's different. And I think from hockey got some bad news today because NHL viewership on ESPN dropped below the TGL this week. So that's not good for the NHL and ESPN. We're going back to the days where people really weren't watching betting or weren't watching hockey. And betting, I think, at the beginning kind of helped them out a little bit. And ESPN, I still think the package that ESPN puts together for, pay them $7 a month and you get every NHL game is the best deal in sports streaming. I mean, it's incredible. You watch every hockey game. So I don't want that to change and go away. But we're not going to see a quicker latency. No one's going to invest in hockey at the moment because the viewership just is not there. This has been a very not auspicious start to the NHL season, but there's not a lot of hype. There's not a lot of buzz. And I think as we get
disjointed as hell. I mean, one night it's on TNT, game of the week. Then it's on ESPN. Then it's on ABC on the weekends. Like it's all over the place. And I know they're just trying to spread it out.
Yeah.
It's just like us doing the show. You got to be consistent. It's just like sportsbook apps. It just has to be consistent.
Fair. Speaking of being consistent, our guy Billy's got to stop walking around because he's making me dizzy.
This guy may not sit still. I mean,
he's walking around.
Billy, get set.
He just like I keep on wanting to put him on, and I'm like, you gotta sit still so I can put you on, Billy. Let's go to New Orleans. How are you, sir? What's going on?
We miss you guys, man.
Billy, what are you doing right now? This is Billy Schweim. Billy, what are you doing right now? You're frozen, Billy. That's what you did. You're frozen. Look at that face.
See if he can connect.
Oh, hold on.
What's going on Radio Row?
You're on Radio Row. Okay.
We're back.
How's New Orleans so far?
I'm walking around with my phone in my hand. to give you guys a bird's eye view of what's going on here at Radio Row. And I'm in front of the McAfee show, and he's on right.
Oh,
Tell
hi,
Pat we said hello.
Hi, Pat.
Tell Pat we said hello. Just yell back. Tell him Sheriff said hello. Please, just yell it out.
What's going on, Book? What's going on, Matt?
So you got to New Orleans when, Billy?
I got to New Orleans on Tuesday around 3:00 in the afternoon.
Have you eaten a meal yet? Like a real meal?
I've had. There's a lot of vendors with a lot of their food that they give samples to. So I haven't actually had a full meal. I've been, just picking here and there. But that's what you do in New Orleans. They have gumbo, shrimp gumbo. They got all kind of Creole. It's just, and I even held an alligator last night, Book.
I heard. Yeah, I saw that in the media. Yeah, in the media center, they had at the media party. They had actual baby alligators.
Yeah, they have chicken wings and food. They got everything going on.
Did you eat alligator yet? Because they eat it down there.
I'm not eating out, Matt. I'm not touching it. I'll hold an alligator, but I won't eat one.
So you're set up. Tell everybody, what station and what show and all this other stuff you guys got going on this week at Radio Row.
So the locker room with Billy Schweim is here with the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN South Jersey. And you can see them right there. They're broadcasting live from Radio Row. All right. And there's a, Book and Matt, as it was last year, this place is mobbed. And we've had Malcolm Jenkins on. We've had Bo Allen on. We've had Brian Billick on, former head coach of the Ravens who won the Super Bowl. We've had on a couple people from the local ABC affiliate in Philadelphia, Action News. I've had Mina Kine on today.
Okay, there you go. Has anybody picked the Eagles, Billy? Are you forcing them to pick the Eagles?
I believe it or not, Malcolm Jenkins did. Mina Kine picked the Chiefs.
All right.
No, I mean, what's the feeling from the audience? Is it like nervous anticipation? Is it we feel like this is payback? Here come the Eagles to get one. They lost the first one to the Patriots and then beat them the second time. Lost the first one to the Chiefs. Do they beat them the second time? What's the Eagle fan from your audience, feeling?
Well, you know how Philadelphia fans are. They're 100% positive. They're revenge factor. The fact that we're in the Super Bowl again for the second time in 2-3 years, all that hype surrounding the Eagles. So yeah, there's that revenge factor, but everybody assumes in Philadelphia that the Eagles are going to win and win big, by the way.
Really?
Big.
You got that guy that calls in on the Saturday show, that disgruntled Eagles fan. There was a lot of question marks, Billy. We were talking early in the season when they were 2-2 and that, ready to run Sirianni out of town. And have you come full circle, Billy? Do you think the Eagles are going to win on Sunday?
Yeah, you got to remember the Philadelphia Eagles defense became of age after week 5. After week 4, they had the bye. And then from that point on, they went from a +2 in turnover ratio to, I think, leading the league at 13 or 14. So they've improved on turnovers. Jalen Hurts on the other end of it, he hasn't been turning the ball over. He hasn't been setting the world on fire. But guess what? He doesn't have to. They got Saquon Barkley. You run the ball, and it's another thing funny, Matt and Book, that the Philadelphia fan has been begging to run the ball, and then we start running the ball, and they want to throw the ball.
Yeah, they're not satisfied. You need style points. That's what, even Clement M and, Nikki in the show and all this other stuff, they were complaining to you because you were complaining about, the Eagles are boring. They're not doing it this certain way. I remember you saying that, Billy, like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm a total Philadelphia fan where, when they're doing well and they're playing well, I'm the biggest fan. When they're not, I'm the biggest critic. And that's how Philadelphia fans are. And you know what, Book and Matt, I got to tell you, I talk to a lot of players, former players, and they'd rather have a fan base that's critical and will boo and let you know if you're not playing well to pick it up. I mean, if you're an athlete, I want that. I want to be in a tough environment where, but they'll love you. When you give 110%, you're a blue collar player and you're doing everything and saying everything right, they'll love you forever.
Will they love this team if they lose on Sunday?
Listen, last week was even more of a pickle because Josh Harris owns the Washington Commanders. He owns the Sixers. He owns the Devils. Can you imagine if the Eagles lost to the Commanders? They would have put his face up on the Jumbotron. People would have been booing him.
What is the difference maker? Obviously, Saquon's the one guy. He's unique to this game. Wasn't there 2 years ago. But who is going to be the difference maker in the game on Sunday in your mind?
I think if the offensive and defensive lines are just dominating the line of scrimmage, you got to understand, Matt, that Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, when they take off, when they run the ball, they're 2 yards, 3 yards down the field before they're even touched. It's the offensive line and on the other end of that equation, the defensive line. Jalen Carter is a beast, and everybody I've talked to, former and people in the news media, he, like Brian Baldinger, a big advocate of Jalen Hurts, this guy is the real deal, man.
Are you worried about the kicking game, Billy? Because
absolutely booked.
Why?
Well, because Jake Elliott, I mean, he's missed, I don't think he's hit a 50 or plus yard field goal all year. He's missed several extra points, this is the first year he's done that. And yeah, it's a big concern for the Eagles, but you know what? The Eagles are like in the top 5 and going for it in 4th down, so they might not even get a chance to kick.
It's interesting. Are you on the bandwagon that the tight end position for the Eagles is going to be a large difference maker, meaning Dallas Goedert's props are going to be hitting, or are you on the other way thinking it's going to be A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and not the tight ends?
You zotzed out on me a little bit there, but I take your question is, will the tight ends play a major role in this game? I think obviously Travis Kelce, what he's capable of, but people don't realize how good of a tight end we have in Dallas Goedert, even our backup Calcaterra. I mean, the guys, they're better than adequate. You know what I mean? And Dallas Goedert's a good blocker too. We had Kyle Rudolph on, former tight end. He was talking about how tight ends are different than receivers, where the only job a receiver has really to do is catch the ball, where a tight end, they're blocking, and they might catch a ball here and there could be an impact play in the game, but by and large, they're more involved in the game than the wide receiver is.
Billy, last one for me, sir. Have you ever been to New Orleans before?
No. So what's funny, crazy book? As you know, I used to work for U.S. Airways in Philadelphia on the ramp for 25 years, and I've taken advantage of my free travel benefits. I don't know if we're zotzed out again. All right, I take advantage of my free travel benefits. I've been all over the world. I've been to almost every rink in the NHL. I've been to a lot of baseball games, baseball stadiums. 2 cities I've never been to, New Orleans and Seattle, and now I just got to New Orleans, and I can crash something.
So what are you looking forward to most seeing and or doing on your maiden voyage to cover the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
I definitely want to I haven't gotten to Bourbon Street yet. So
okay.
Bourbon Street's the the epicenter of everything down here.
It's a work trip, Billy. Don't get crazy. You're too old for Bourbon Street. Don't get nuts. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, it's so easy to get nuts down here. This place is a small town. It's quaint, but it's got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff you don't see in other cities.
Yeah, a lot of character. Give me a score on the way out.
I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think they're going to win pretty handsomely. I think they win this game by 8 points. I'm going to say 38-30.
Over 38-30.
Wow. Okay.
38-35 last time. 38-30. Yeah. Every prop over will hit.
You want to see the McAfee show real quick before we leave?
Yeah. Say hi to Pat.
Just yell out, Pat. Sheriff says hello.
He's talking to somebody. He's interviewing. Pat's interviewing somebody.
Billy,
Billy, thank you for coming on. Enjoy the
Billy.
trip. It's a lot of fun.
Let's go Birds.
Let's go Birds. Goodbye.
Billy Schweim from the locker room in 97.3 FM in.
Got that to work. That's an absolute miracle. That was like a plus 800 dog.
In
that he
South
got that to
Jersey,
work.
joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Good to get
Yeah.
him on the program.
Woo!
So I guess before we talk about what happened last night, we can kind of get into this because we're talking Super Bowl, and we're going to be joined by Chris Andrews, the director of the Super Book, or of the South Point sports book, here in a couple of minutes. So I'll give full props to our friends at Wager Talk and Ralph Michaels, who put this up, and our guy Evan Abrams also put it up as well. Two stats that if you are an Eagles backer, you're going to like both of these. KC enters the Super Bowl with a slightly better straight-up win percentage than the Eagles this year. In recent history, that has not boded well for the Chiefs side, since the team with the better win percentage is 1-16 ATS in the Super Bowl since 2003.
That's absurd.
That's absurd. What also is absurd is the stat that Ralph Michaels uncovered last night, which is 0-10.
Yep.
0-10 is the record for a team that had a bye against a team in the Super Bowl that did not have a bye.
Correct.
In the opening round of the playoffs.
Yep.
What do you make of that?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
stat.
know. Like, I cannot believe that a team that had a bye has never beaten a team that didn't. At 0-10.
We make so much of the bye weeks, right? We talk all about the bye weeks, about like rest and how cool, how big it is to have rest. And in the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. It's a detriment, it looks like.
Well, it's strange because they both have a bye week now. Like they both had an off week. So it should eventually, it should just cancel it out. Like the coincidence that it seems, it's
well, the Eagles played in week 1.
No, I know, but like they both had a bye week now, like right the week before.
Oh, you mean in between? I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So it catches up. Like
right.
It doesn't make any sense that once you get to the Super Bowl, well, the team that had the bye week before the playoffs even started has never beaten a team that had to play in the first round. That's a crazy stat. You can just find these numbers and stats and things. I saw that from Ralph sent me that directly, and I was like, geez, that's 10 times? I wouldn't have believed that, one, it was 10 times.
Right.
And two, I would have believed it was a lot closer to 500. 5 and 3, if it was 8, 6 and 4, if there's 10, something like that. Addison the wrench. Bye team is so due.
In a way.
Baby.
It's such an interesting situation. JC and Casey, that doesn't help you either. If you underdogs are 7-0, that's not good when the total's under 52.
Oh, I see what he's doing. He's
another
the
stat.
KC guy. He's putting out the stats and the numbers and stuff that are favoring the Eagles. I see what he's doing, JC from KC.
You can throw that if you weigh, but the move came today on the Eagles. So the move came, the numbers 1, and it's across the board 1.
Yeah.
So it's you look at that and you're like, okay, what does this number close at? We're sitting here -1 and 49 are the two numbers here for this game.
It probably closes this
at pick or -1.
I don't know if it goes to. If it goes to pick, they're going to lay it. There's no way it's going to pick. I don't know. Now you can just sit with that money line. They ain't giving them a shot on Chiefs plus money line. I tell you that right now. No way. We'll sit like this and just keep writing bets. There's no.
But there's no more teaser protection though, because it's +1, so you can take it to 7. It's a 1-score game now. So like 7.5 at least gave you some teaser protection. It's not there anymore. 1.5 now it's 1.
Yeah.
And so now you can do whatever you want. You can pull the Chiefs to +6 if it goes to a pick. You can give the Chiefs +6. That's a really popular move to do that.
Man, we can ask Chris about that as far as the teasers and different things. I know Butchie, anybody doing this business from the other side of the counter, just don't fall in the teaser middle. Just something. I don't care who wins, just don't fall right in the middle where all the teasers win. The total's 49, 48.5, whatever. Don't fall in the middle. There's no teaser protection. This is it. You're right, Butchie. There is no teaser protection, period. So somebody just win by 10, ideally.
Right. Kill it all.
Yeah, just win by double digits.
Why would DraftKings be at 1.5 and the world at 1? I mean, Circa, Superbook, South Point, Caesars, BetMGM, all offshore. They're all at 1. DraftKings is at 1.5.
Just waiting to see if that Philly bet will come there. That's
Okay.
all. You just a lot of times you just sit around all week and you book and take all the bets on a college basketball. The NBA is what it is. You just wait for somebody to come in and do something, and then you get the avalanche of money starting. When people start to show up in Vegas on Friday, you start to get those Friday night bets, 20 dimes, 50 dimes. You're like, oh, welcome. Okay, let's go. Saturday, 1 million college basketball games, 1 million college basketball games on Saturday. They're firing the props and they're hitting you with this, Xavier Worthy over. And you're like, man, now I got 1 million things to watch. You designate 1 or 2 guys in a room. You got all the props. Anything limit play, yell it out. I got the college baskets. You got the NBA. Because it gets nuts. Like this weekend it's not hard. It's just extremely busy. All week, you're just waiting for it to come in. Like you don't do nothing. That's why. I mean, I for fun, move it to 2. What's the worst can happen? Somebody can bet you 50,000 on Philly. Let's go.
I think it's really interesting because, and people in the chat have been saying this all week, that the books can't allow KC to go off as a dog. They won't do it again. They won't put Mahomes as an underdog in the Super Bowl again, like they did 2 years ago, even last year. So I don't know. Does that factor in? Does previous performance factor in?
No. A giant suitcase of money factors in. Somebody comes in and bets the Eagles for $1 million, it'll go to pick. It might, some books might flip it and just go to 1 and let them take even money on the Chiefs. But no, I ain't worried about last year. I ain't worried about last week. It's a totally different game and you got to book it separately. So, you have a position with the futures.
Okay.
That might impact if it's a gigantic mountain of money. And I mean, there were times where we would be going into this game with a 7-figure cushion on both sides. If it ended right, didn't matter. If Chiefs win, you win 800,000. If the Eagles win, you win 1.1. And that's before you take a bet on the game. That's a lot of work, but it's possible. So maybe DraftKings is going, you know what? We're heavy on the Chiefs. We ain't letting them bet Chiefs. I don't know.
If the Eagles win
in
the futures market, would that be, we'll ask Chris Andrews this, obviously, for his book, but are most books doing well to an Eagles championship, or do they would prefer the favorite with the Chiefs because they've been one of the favorites the whole year?
Every book will be different, but my guess is that the Eagles' result will be better. Okay. Because, I mean, think about it. They were 2-2. They weren't believing in them. I mean, they may have believed in them before the season, and then you just kept waiting because they were winning ugly. And, I mean, there's big groups, though, that bet the Eagles every week. Like big groups that love the Eagles every week. So they probably got positions at, I don't know, Butchie, what was nasty on both here? I believe it. What were the highest price the Eagles were to win the Super Bowl? Was it 10-1?
Had to have been.
Had to have been.
I mean, look, just go back to September, right? Yeah, go back to your point when they're 2-2, and then look what the Lions did for most of the year with how hot the Lions were and how everyone was betting Bills, Chiefs, Lions. I mean, that wasn't, I mean, the Eagles weren't in September. They didn't look great. I mean, they hit the bye week and everything changed for them after the bye week, but defensively, they didn't look great. Hurts didn't look good. I mean, things weren't great. It had 12 to 1.
Yeah, that's about right. That's what I figured it was. And some books may have taken a little bit of a position earlier and not got to 12, but 10 is legit. Yeah. So, but there's way less tickets on the Eagles, I would think, than the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have been the most popular team for, they're already betting the Chiefs to win next year's Super Bowl.
Right.
People that are coming in are going, well, they're going to win on Sunday, but I'm going to get a ticket at I think they're like 6-1 or something right now at a lot of places. The Chiefs are
For next year?
for next year.
Oh my.
You
Okay.
know?
What do you make of New Orleans or Louisiana being a legalized sports gambling state, and how does that impact the books here in Nevada? Because obviously we had the game here last year, so the handle was gigantic, but people fly in because they know they can get a large amounts of money down here. But we're in a state like Arizona was still pretty fresh when the Arizona Super Bowl happened. This is I mean, New Orleans has had gambling casinos for a very long time. They've had sports gambling for multiple years now. Does that take away from the Nevada handle that people can go to New Orleans and get big bets down?
I don't think so. I think a good example was when we were in Arizona, and that was the first time that there was another state that had the game that had books and casinos. There were people betting there that they're able to offset that. You know, it's not like betting in Nevada where it's just Nevada. So when you go to Arizona and you bet at FanDuel or bet at, DraftKings or a national company, they can offset it. They get books all over, the United States. Coming to Vegas, most of the time, it's just, there's Caesars, there's BetMGM, but there's not them other big companies. So I don't know how big of a bet they will take, Butchie. You're right. I don't know.
You don't think Caesars would take a big bet in New Orleans, in Louisiana, in their home market?
I think they would. Would.
It would make sense for them.
I would hope they would.
Right. Fair.
Like
right.
if you don't,
right.
what is the
Right.
excuse?
Fair.
Like, oh, we're not doing that? I want to bet $500,000 on the game. Write the ticket. Like, it doesn't matter. Write the ticket. Wow. I don't know. So what does Gramke say there?
This is a stat of stats that mean travel. This is not something you should be backing. This is just
This
coincidence.
is the 9th time this century that to get to the Super Bowl, one team travels east and one team travels west. All 8 previous games, the team traveling west has won. So the Eagles are the team traveling west by that?
Yes.
Okay. So, at least that Gramke, good work with that dog avatar and them eyes. You found that. That's gold right there. Holy crap. Man.
If that's why you're betting the Eagles, yikes. That's not.
But, little known fact. There's a lot of BMs down in New Orleans that are probably taking that in the back, like, in the alleys and stuff like that. There's a lot of guys that have been doing the business down there for a long, long time. So, that's
Marcella,
a big place for gambling. There's only one casino, Harrah's, in the city.
Now,
right?
okay, I took my honeymoon to New Orleans, and I stayed at a casino property.
Did you stay at Harrah's?
No.
Oh.
I don't believe so. I might have stayed at Harrah's, but Caesars own Harrah's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it may have been Harrah's then.
Yep.
It may have been Harrah's that we stayed at.
Yep.
It's wherever the original Ruth's Chris is. Wherever it burned down, and then they rebuilt it. So wherever the original Ruth's Chris is, that's the property that I stayed at in New Orleans for my honeymoon. But I thought there was more than one casino.
How long were you there for your honeymoon? How many days?
7 days.
You did 7 days there?
6 nights, 7 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got it. It was amazing because my friend, a good friend of mine who works now has left the business, but was a really big VP up for Caesars. And he told me, he said, hey, if you guys want to go to New Orleans, because he knew I love New Orleans. And it's one of my favorites. He's like, I'll comp your whole stay if you want. Like, if you want to go.
That was a big score right there.
Oh my God, we didn't pay for anything. It was amazing to be able to go and just go, okay, that was easy. Like, I can go for 6 nights and not have to pay for a thing. Yeah, okay, let's go. So I did everything in New Orleans, in Louisiana. We did, got outside the city, and it was fun. It was a really fun time. Went on the airboats and fed alligators and ate and drank. I wasn't sober for one of the days I was there. I was drunk the entire time. It was pretty fun.
Should have been a precursor of things to come. What time of year was it?
Right after September. Right? Because it was the first time I had ever been in a market for Falcons and Saints fans.
Okay.
I had never seen that rivalry before. And so I was there for a game day, and like I was in this like pretty high-end restaurant, and it was overtaken by Saints and Falcon fans yelling at each other during the game. Like it was nuts. They hated each other. I was like, you guys really don't like each other. He's like, oh yeah, we hate each other.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know about this rivalry. You guys really have a problem with each other. And they're like, yeah, we got a big problem with each other. We do not like Saints and Falcon fans do not get along. I was like, oh, I'm learning something new every day. Learn something new. I knew of like rivalries in the NFL, but I didn't know of like that rivalry in the NFL. That was unique. So it was fun. Let's get to our guy. He is the one and the only Chris Andrews. He is the South Point Sportsbook Director, joining us once again here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Chrissy, how are you? Good to see you again. Thanks for coming back on.
Good seeing you guys too. We should have some fun today. Let's go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
The first thing we got to talk about is that tweet you put out yesterday, because I was answering texts and things that said, one, is Chris okay? And two, is that real? Are you really keeping the prices what they probably should be and doing it like old school style on Super Bowl Sunday at the South Point?
The answer is yes, first of all. You know, Dave, I saw, somebody, one of those Vegas, Las Vegas locally, but I'm not sure, tweeted out how Las Vegas right now, I talked to another guy just 10 minutes in the industry. There's bad signs in this town about some dwindling demand for a variety of reasons. And I don't think these fires in Southern California, they're certainly not going to help. There's a lot of disposable income that is not going to be available to come to Las Vegas. But really, and I started coming here in 1970. That's how long ago. This is, the things that we do at the South Point, that's what this town was built upon. And we laugh sometimes at meeting, Michael Gaughan advertised free parking, 3-2 blackjack. Said, if Jackie Gaughan were alive, he'd say, Michael, doesn't everybody in town have free parking? Doesn't everybody in town have 3-2 blackjack? Doesn't everybody have these great food deals and all this other stuff? And of course, the answer is no. We have a buffet, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I think we're the only one in town. Pretty sure.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. He got a text. He got a text. Yeah. Hopefully he'll be able to click the link and come back
because he was on his phone.
Right.
But it was two hot dogs, 2 bags of popcorn, 1 chicken tenders, 1 ice cream, $15.
It's not even joking. It's the best value going for the Super Bowl in town. And there's a lot of people coming. And listen, they're getting what they can get. Oh, you're back. Okay. Go ahead. Continue.
I had a phone call. I'm doing this on my phone.
That's fine.
Anyway, like I was saying, that's what town was built upon. And I think as the corporations and that sort of thing have taken to this town, they've gotten away from that. And, all of a sudden we have more competition, whether it's, in state like at Reno or Mesquite or, a casino. How many jurisdictions have casinos? I know back in our old stomping grounds in Pennsylvania got them. And, I don't know, there's a bunch of them all over the country. But I think Vegas needs to get back to what made us great. And really, a lot of them, I think the greed button has been pushed, and guys are trying to make money on every single thing. And I don't think that's not how this town was built, and I don't think that's the way it's going to thrive in the future, unless it goes back to some of those old school things like we do at the South Point.
Chris Davis talked about this. I wasn't living here at the time. I've been here now almost 10 years, but in some ways it feels a little bit like 2007 before what happened in 2008 in this town, that everyone's trying to basically scrape every penny they can off of the people who come here. Does it feel like that at all to you, that like we're making the same mistakes we made, 15 years ago?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, about that time, I had a lot of things going on in my life, but I kind of got out of the business because I saw that coming. I said, this is a bad sign, man. And we're going to have a comeuppance in this industry. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know much of anything else in the world. I've been doing this all my life. Little did I know the whole world was going to go through this session. I saw it coming in gaming, but I didn't know it was going to go through, banking, real estate, and you name the industry. But I see similarities here. We're a long market with the stocks. There's a correction coming at some point. Those kind of. Now, I hope we learned some lessons in 2007, 2008. I'm not sure if we did or not. But I think we do see some of that greed that's taken place, throughout everything. But like I said, I'm only, this is really the only industry I know that much about, but I could see it here. And I think the bubble might burst a little bit. And I hope the correction comes to do some things like we did in the old days.
Well, you do it the old way every day, which is, if you know it, nobody can really do it better, but you got to just keep doing it. And you've done it now for so many years. I mean, you talk about coming to Vegas in the 70s and, you remember Black Sunday with the Steelers and the Cowboys back in the day and whatever Uncle Jack was doing and all that other stuff. There's a lot of things. How has the action been this year? It's a repeat of the game 2 years ago. It's the Chiefs again. We've been hearing about this Chiefs fatigue, and everybody kind of wants the Eagles to just make sure that the Chiefs don't win. How's the action been down there for you?
Dave, it started picking up on Monday with, how in this business, the first 2 days, you get a lot of action, and then things the market just is kind of, observing what's going to happen next. Now, don't forget, not on any key numbers or anything like that. It's been like 1.5. The money line is relatively cheap. So I don't think anybody's feel an urgency to bet. Now, just today, start getting a lot of prop. Like I said, starting Monday, but even I can see it picking up today. A lot of prop action. The sides are coming in. I think the props, like for us, and probably for a lot of the places like us, I think the props are going to substantially outright the game itself, just because we are not on a number. And guys are looking for other ways to create some value for themselves. But it's starting to pick up. And I say it every year, it's slow, and it always does. But then come Sunday, I don't think it's that slow. These are two marquee teams, arguably the two best teams in the league. High-profile players, high-profile fans, great coaching staffs, everything you want to say about the positivity that'll lead to a lot of gaming, got a lot of betting on this game. But I think the props are going to outright it by quite a bit this year.
Chris, Vegas, we're at 1. Other books outside of Vegas at 1.5 for Kansas City. Where does this number close?
Dave, I got to tell you, you'll appreciate this. And again, going back to old school kind of stuff. A couple days ago, I went to $1.18. And we're using a dime line on the money line. $1.18 plus 08. Michael calls me. What the hell are you doing? I said, what? He said, I don't want to see that $1.18 shit. Either use $1.20 or $1.15. I said, well, those tiny little percentages, they're going to mean something. I mean, they're not going to mean anything to the overall bottom line in Detroit. And you know what? He's right. I always say he's made about 1 billion better decisions than I have. It's up to about 1.5 billion, I'd say. But that's all right, Michael. I said, but in the end, you're going to judge me on how we do in this game. So I'm ready to maybe go. I'm at minus 115 plus 05 on the money line. And it's the lowest in town, but they're still betting me the Eagles. And I'm sitting there, man, do I got to go to minus 110 and eat? So right now the trend is all Eagles. Now, I've seen these things reverse. I've seen them go the other way. Maybe Eagle money dries up and we get all kind of money on Kansas City. Right now, for the last couple of days, it's almost all Eagle money. I talked to a bookmaker yesterday. He thinks if the trend continues, the Eagles will actually close the favorite.
Right.
Now, I don't know about that. I don't know. But I think we're going to get awful close to pick them shortly.
I love when Jimmy tweets out a picture of a ticket from the joint. And I saw. Did somebody hammer you with the total under? I mean, is the
Yeah.
total the money's on under so far, huh?
Well, again, the money's on the under, but the tickets are about 3-1 on the over.
Right.
And I'm just looking. But one guy bet me 20,000 on the under, another guy bet me 50,000 on the under. I talked to another person in town. One of the regular guys bet him 100,000 on the under. So sharp money again is on the under.
Yep.
I think the public will overpower it at some point. So we're at 49. I think I saw 48.5 in the market somewhere.
Yep.
But we're at 49. Feeling that's going to go up to 49.5 before game time.
Dog and under? Are we correlated here with this, or is it going to be Eagles in the over at the end of the day when it comes to what the public's betting?
I don't think it's correlated. If it was like a 7 or something, I think you could say that. But I just think that's the way the sharp guys are looking at it, and I can see that. I think they're going to go for a lot of guys are going to go for fourth downs rather than either punt or try to kick a field goal. I think both teams are going to try to run the ball, and that is usually better for the under. But sometimes these things they take on a life of their own. I mean, if these guys come out and score 14 or 17 quick points in the first quarter, all of a sudden it's a whole new different ball game. If we end the first quarter 3-0 or 0-0, then again, that's a different ball game again. And all these things can happen. It's always big plays that determine these football games, and you never know when that big play's coming or who's going to make it.
Season's been pretty interesting. There's been a lot of guys, a lot of, whining and crying, and you're old enough to know that there's no crying in baseball and there's no crying in the sportsbook business. But, man, the favorite's been cashing for people all season long. They're all pumped up. And then you get to the future book, and you got Chiefs and Eagles who've been near the top the whole season. What's your future position? Are you good with both, or do you need one significantly more than the other?
Dave, it's a difference of like $2,000.
That's
and
it.
I'm in real good shape with.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm in real good shape. So, like I said, I don't even look at the futures. Just I'm not going to tell you how much, but we start with over 6 figures in our pocket.
That's
I don't
beautiful.
want to tell Michael Gaughan that. I'll tell him how smart I am at the end of the day. But we start out with, we're going to have a nice little cushion to start the day with.
Anything that's popping in the prop market? You mentioned that more handle will come on the prop market than the game itself. Anything that the sharps you're seeing getting hit regularly?
Yeah, the way things are in this business, and I can only speak for Sal really, but we put up a lot of props on our own. Some we borrowed off other guys, some we borrow off, past years, and these two teams played 2 years ago. Similar total, I think was right around 40.5, 49, if I remember correctly. So we put up those, and tell you the truth, I put up punts at 7.5. I'm down at 6.5 on. Yeah, Dave. Yeah. Okay. Should have come in early and bet it. I'm not a 6.5 on there, and it's one of those when you start looking.
I should have texted you because I got a text. Did you see the 7.5 with you guys? I should have texted you, but they must have beat you to it. So
they didn't waste any time. I got to tell you, and it's one of those look through your thing. Boy, who's the idiot that with this number? Oh yeah, that's right. It was me. Okay, so I'm hoping there's a lot of punting in the game, but I don't know if I might lose that one. Right now it's been a lot of wise guy playing the under, or a lot of wise guys, and they love to bet all the props, and that's what we've gotten so far. I think the public loves to bet over, so I think we'll see those guys come back in, and even some of the ones that move quite a bit, we're starting to get evened out on. So we'll see. But I'd say the trend, if you're looking for a particular trend, they're betting most of the props under with these guys, and no on touchdowns and all that sort of thing.
We got a question from the chat. They see the Robert Morris shirt on. And one of the guys in the chat is going to the game. Robert Morris is going to the game tonight. Chris Otto, who comes to the South Point every year to bowl in the big event there. He's a big bowler. We introduced each other. Last time I was in there, I met him there. He met you. You like Robert Morris tonight? Bobby Moe minus 11.5.
Well, what they win the other night, they won by 50, I think. Something
They're
like
good.
that.
They're
By
good.
like 35 at the half, So they're not bad. I don't particularly like. Dave, I see you wearing all these uniforms and all that other stuff. I try to wear a shirt with whoever's playing that day.
Hey, there you go.
I went through the closet today, and I think Texas is playing. We had a couple of that. I said, what the hell? I'm going to wear my Robert Morris shirt. I'm going on with my Pittsburgh buddy here.
Bobby Moe.
And so here we are.
Very nice. Well, how do you guys approach, and I know gaming's involved in what you can and cannot book, but how do you approach some of the specialty props? National anthem, coin flip, Gatorade bath. Like, do you guys get into that? Do you guys stay away from that? I know, again, gaming in Vegas, we've got different laws, but how do you feel about when someone walks to the counter and wants one of those really out of the left field type props?
Well, we can't book the national anthem. We can't book the Gatorade. We do the coin toss. One guy bet me $5,000 this year on tails. Played him over too. Okay.
Okay.
I hope, you have a good trust fund. I don't know, why else you would do that, but okay. So I mean, some of those, and by Friday I'll probably put up some cross sport parlays, and the media comes in. Oh, what, you got any crazy stuff? And I hate to tell you the truth, because you put them up, and if you make a really big mistake, nobody bet them. But the media loves those things. We got about 300 props that we've been doing for since I got here. I got here in 16, right after that Super Bowl. So probably by 17, 18, we have kind of our menu solidified, and it's worked pretty good for us. We've done pretty good over the years.
Between the books and all the lunches and everything else, I mean, the stories are great. What's your favorite Super Bowl memory, that whether you've told the story or not, just tell the audience right now? Can be anything. Big win, big loss, big bet, anything. What's one of your Super Bowl stories that you like to tell?
Well, I have quite a few, obviously, but I can tell you my favorite one. So this was when the Eagles with Foles played New England. Mm-hmm. And for 2 straight weeks, Michael's calling, Groundy, the general manager's calling. Who do we need? I said, well, we're going to need the Eagles. We're going to need the Eagles. The last 12 hours, this is what I say, sometimes these things switch and you just don't see it coming. It was all Eagle money. I mean, all Eagle. And I said, what the hell happened? Well, we need New England big here. We need New England. Uh-oh. So now I'm sitting here with Jimmy, and Jimmy likes to joke around. I'll do anything. That's total bullshit. So as this money's coming in, because I'm a pretty conservative bookmaker.
Yep.
So if we were going to need Philly for the game, I wanted to need New England for the props.
Right.
So now this turns around. Now I need New England for the props, and I need New England for the game. So me and Jimmy, we're just flying. We're doing everything we could think of: point spreads, yardage, just everything we could think of to try to get some money back, the other way. Because, we were going to need New England for the game. Now I want to need Philly for the prop and all that. So anyway, the way the game wound up, because it just flew over, 70-something was the final.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, it worked greatly in my favor. But so now the end of the game comes, Philly beats them by whatever, they won by 9, 8, whatever. Put the thing right then. Ryan Groundy comes walking in my office. He's a general manager. I ring it up. He goes, well, how do you do? Stuck 200,000. Really? Yeah. He says, what do you think on the props? I said, Ryan, I did the best I could. I said, but we got 300 props. I said, I don't know. I did the best I could. We'll see what happens. So anyway, but I told him, I said, it's going to take 2 hours to get them all in.
Yep.
So we're sitting there. I don't even want to look, but I'm dying there. And about an hour, Vinny looks at me and goes, I can't take it. I got to go get a beer. I says, well, beer ain't going to do it for me. Go get me a double Jameson, So knock that down. So it's about 2 hours. Roundy comes walking in my office right as we finish it. I ring it up. He says, well, we get out of it? I said, yeah. How much? And I said, Oh, we made 4,000. We made 400,000.
No way.
And I'll tell you what, and it's, I usually don't like to give out, but Michael Gaughan, I always say, he can't keep us. If he was in the United States, we'd know who killed Kennedy. We'd know all about we'd know all that shit because he doesn't keep a secret. But if you look at that Super Bowl, I think the entire state won about $1.2 million, and we won like over a third of it.
Wow.
At the South Point. And like I said, it makes me look good. I admit that, but I could have never done it with Jimmy. We were flying. We couldn't even stop and like look. We just started move this, move that, move. Guys are coming in, firing at us, and obviously worked in our favor. But I could have never done it without Jimmy. He was with me the whole way, and that's when you get that old. You got an old hand, and sometimes veteran move means an awful lot. So. I got a lot of Super Bowls. That's my favorite one, though.
Chris, your location, the South Point being the first when you're coming in from California, you guys get a lot of California business. There's someone who in the chat was asking, have you guys seen any action in the wake of the Luka trade to the Lakers? Any delusional Laker fans coming in here and betting you guys for the Lakers to win the championship?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Between Lakers, Dodgers, we were already in bad shape with the Lakers, but before this trade, they'd started playing pretty good over the last couple of weeks, so we'd gotten a lot of money. We've been lowering them along the way. And, I think it's an interesting thing. A lot of people are saying, I don't think Luka and LeBron can play together. I don't know. I mean, Wade and LeBron seem to do pretty good together. They went to 2 finals and won 2 championships. Yep. I mean, and you could say those guys needed the ball all the time, but I see them on the court both as unselfish players. They need the ball a lot because I think what the team called for. But I don't know. I mean, I think this team's gonna be pretty good. Now I got to find somebody to protect the rim. But. I'm not exactly a basketball expert, but we have gotten a lot of money in on the Lakers even before this. But since then, even more in the last days. Yeah,
you always get the money on the Lakers here. That's one of those things that have been. I mean, since our days at the Nugget, like they used to just bet the Lakers all the time, and that's when the Lakers were actually good. 20 years ago. All right, last one for me, sir. Where were you Saturday night when that news hit? Because you're like an early to bed guy. It was late Saturday night. Like everyone's been asking me, what's a night like that for an odds maker or a bookmaker, somebody working in a book? Do you get called? Does like somebody at the counter want to bet you 2 dimes at 40-1? And you go, wait a second, what's going on here? What were you doing Saturday night? Who was on the call?
I was ready to go to bed. So it was about 9:30, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Something like that. Which is about my bedtime. I was ready to go to bed. I think my wife are probably watching like the early version of Saturday Night Live or whatever.
Right.
And I get the call. And Damon here, he tells me, you aren't going to believe this. Luka Doncic just got traded to the Lakers. What? We never heard one rumor.
Nope.
It's amazing. I told you Michael Gaughan can't keep. Well, Rob Pelinka evidently can keep us.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm ready to go to bed. I said, just take it off for now. Take the futures off. Let's deal with it in the morning. And that's what because we were all stuck on the Lakers. But I think some guys snuck in like a 2-dime bet.
Of course. They always do.
I mean, somebody always knows before I do. And that's just. So it was late at night. I was probably half asleep already, but that woke me up. Take it off. Well, let me deal with it in the morning. Because we're open all night. We open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I don't want to get robbed in the middle of the night. Let's just take it off. I'll deal with it 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, Chris, thank you for coming on. We appreciate the time. If folks are watching and they're within a quick drive or flight over here to Vegas and want to come in for the Super Bowl, just once again, remind them, how can they get in touch with you guys? What can they come in and see at the South Point for the big game on Sunday?
Well, like Dave was indicating early on, no, I didn't lose my mind. We are using those prices, and the party's free. And we have a couple of different parties. There's some for some invited guests and that sort of thing, but open to the public. It's free. I think we seat about 2,500 in our exhibit hall. And the prices are just like the old days of Vegas, include drinks and everything else. And, you can get here early, but, there'll be seats available. And we got multiple TVs. We've been doing this a while. We kind of know how. So there's not really a bad seat in the joint. But come in, I think the party opens like at 10:30, and, like I said, food, drink, and, we'll have a lot of stuff to do. I think they're going to have, I think they might have a cornhole thing. It should be a lot of fun. But come here. When we went to a meeting the other day, we expect with all our parties and everything else, probably about 7,000 people in the joint.
Oh, baby,
it'll be hopping. And I mean, I'm obviously I hope we make money, but I can tell you that the tables are going, the slots are going. The hotel's not quite sold out. I'm hoping we do get sold out by Sunday, but we try to keep Mr. Gone happy. And, so far we've been able to do that. And of course, he steers the ship. He tells us, like I said, he wouldn't let me use $1.18 the other day.
Too good.
But, that's just what we do. And, I think it'll be a lot of fun for guys coming in. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Chris, thank you for the time. Great to see you. Have fun on Sunday.
I'll see you
this
guys
weekend. Too. Anytime, guys. Give me a holler. See you later.
That is the one and only Chris Andrews from the South Point Sportsbook Director joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book.
Money.
Eagles money coming in. One-way action. He's saying everyone's on the Eagles, which is, I guess, not that big of a surprise, just given what we've seen over the last couple of days. A lot of talk on the Eagles. Does it change? Do we think Chief money is just lurking to see if they can get at a pick and then they unload?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great story about that Eagles Patriots Super Bowl.
Really
that
is.
Changed. I mean, his whole position flipped. You booked a game for 2 weeks and the whole thing flips in 6 hours. And I've been in that room when you're sitting there and you're going, blub, 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 and you see this thing on the ticker and they're coming, from this place or from that place. And then they hit, hey, there's a guy who wants 100 on the Eagles money line. I'll never forget that. I mean, that was crazy how that Eagles money showed up late, but in full force. So to flip your position, like you called the boss and said, we need this. And then 6 hours later, you know what? We need the other side. So that's an old school move to try to need the props for one side and the game for the other. It's happening at places like South Point, P-Roll, that the prop handle is outwriting the game. I don't know if that would be the case if this was Buffalo and the Eagles. I think you'd have a ton more, but it's not a key number. Like you said, it's a coin flip as far as the side, and the total's a really good number. So, you're going to write more on Saquon bets and, Travis Kelce bets and guys like Xavier Worthy, Dallas Goedert. I did 2 shows this morning. This Goddard thing is you call it groupthink.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's on it. Over receptions, over yardage. Everybody.
Yeah, I'd be careful with it. I don't know. It's keeping me off of it because of that. And the same thing. Like I haven't bet the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown yet because I feel like that's groupthink. And even though groupthink can cash, I mean, it's not like it can't, be profitable to do that. But generally speaking, when you're seeing like a plus 140 price on Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown and everyone's on it, I start to go, wait a second.
Right.
Hold on a second. Smarter people than me might be looking at that and they know something that I don't, and I would tend to stay off of it. It could cash and it's like, oh shoot, I should have bet that. But I would rather not be involved in markets like that and just have to be like, oh, congratulations, than sit there and go, my goodness, what was I doing? Like, why did I do that? Like, why did I should have known better and I knew better. And I've been staring at lines now for long enough that I can somewhat tell when my own, I like it too much. like, hey, you like this too much. Like, don't bet this because you're with everyone, and the Buffaloes are all going to jump off the cliff, and then you're going to be one of those. And it's going to be like, son of a. So the Goddard feels that way for sure. There is some breaking news that to Juice. I'll give you what you're asking.
What?
Yeah, this is real.
It's done?
No, not done. The Celtics are trying to clear $3 million off their cap to be able to acquire Kevin Durant. So, but that's not the only team after Kevin Durant. The Warriors are heavily after him again. The Warriors want him back. So it appeared because he's not playing tonight. So, and he's healthy. So Kevin Durant is off the board, not playing tonight. So the theory is that he may not be a Sun by morning. He may be getting traded by Phoenix as they look to reconstitute and figure out what their next step is going to be.
When is the trade deadline? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, tomorrow afternoon.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're saying the Celtics is a front runner. Warriors are in there. Those are the two. Warrior beat reporters have been telling everybody who's listening that the Warriors are efforting to get it. Yep, and Kevin Durant has talked about not wanting to go to the Warriors, but who knows? Until we hear it from the horse's mouth, who knows? So, he said Marcelo, and he said it straight up. He said it outwardly that he wouldn't go there. Okay, well, I know
now
that
it's on. It's breaking news. Shams is saying it. He has no desire for a reunion with the Warriors. They just put it across the
so
screen.
they're dead then. Okay, so then the Warriors are dead. All right, so now it's Boston or who? Miami. I mean, the Jimmy Butler trade might go down. I don't know if going to Miami is awesome, but the Heat aren't going anywhere. You want to go to the Eastern Conference, contend with the Cavaliers and Celtics, go right ahead. You're not anywhere near close to competing. So if you want the championship, but that's what he wants, Cleveland, Boston are probably the two best spots to go. And Boston obviously would be a very nice landing spot. To answer to Juice's question, if you put Kevin Durant into a Joe Mazzulla coached system, what does that do? It creates the most unique lineup in the history of the NBA because you'll have a 7-1 center who shoots threes, a 6'11 shooting guard who shoots threes, a 6'11 forward who shoots threes, a 6'9 slasher who gets to the basket a ton, who can shoot threes, who is the reigning MVP of the NBA Finals.
I don't want to see this.
And then you have a point guard who passes the basketball incredibly well. That starting five for the Boston Celtics, no one's beating that. Like, they'll find a way to make that work, and that's an all-star team. Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kevin Durant with Derek White running the point. I mean, get out of here. Like, I can't wait. Who do they trade? Good question. Who goes back? It might have to include Derek White, to be honest. You mean maybe Derek White is part of the piece that it would go back because of what he can do efficiency-wise? I'm not sure Boston would be cool with giving him up, though. Maybe Porzingis. Maybe you would trade Porzingis and send him to the Suns.
KC's 13-point favorites tonight. KD's not playing. My God, they're going to win by 20.
Yeah, he's out. I mean, it's
if we're sitting here in the book right now, I just move it to 14. Just get off the market. Everybody's 13. Go to 14. Let them bet Phoenix right now. See what happens. I don't know. Because if this game starts fast for OKC, it's going to be 20 like that. I mean, you got to move it. I said it last night with Wetzel. Betting the Celtics to win the East is minus 105 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to come out of retirement, like for real, and go bet that because they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right. What happens if they get
Durant? They're in the game. Like they're in the series. Nobody's beating them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals in the East. So in a series, price ain't going to be pick 'em. Like that seems like a thing. If they get Kevin Durant, I don't even know what I would make them to win the East. Minus 300. I mean, I make them plus 120 to win a championship.
So you think bet the Celtics right now to win the Eastern Conference before the trade deadline in case they get Kevin Durant? What if Durant goes to the Cavs?
Okay. So they're going to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics, will they not have home court? Does it matter? The Cavs aren't going to be favored against the Celtics in a series. I mean, and now with this news, literally ready to come out of retirement. Like after the show, might have to go
Yeah, I think
You
you're
know?
right. I don't know.
I can't believe it that
I'm
I saw
eyeballing it too.
they put the graphic up on the air last night, and I was like, wait a second, because the Celtics were playing the Cavs. The Celtics look clearly like the better team. There's
Yes.
no way the Cavs, with all conditions staying the same, are beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. Just reality. As much as you may want to wish it, if you don't like Boston or whatever, but they are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And right now, my buddy the Rat, who I played a card game with every week for 3 years on Sunday nights in the basement of a barber shop and all this other stuff, he used to say while we were keeping score, your NCC, your next closest competitor. You always measure yourself against the NCC. So I'm in the book, and I've adopted that for years. The NCC for the Celtics is the Cavs right now. And they're a distant,
Second.
like, I can't even see them in the same picture. So I went, how the hell are they only minus 105 to
Man,
win the East?
gambling Twitter is just hammering the Warriors for Durant saying he doesn't want to go there. Oh my.
Well, they're not. I mean,
Calling him a poverty franchise. Why would why would he want to go back to the poverty franchise?
wow.
I'm not sure I'd go that far, but this is
What's
why
worse, NBA Twitter or gambling Twitter? Gambling Twitter is worse.
gambling Twitter's worse just because it's more toxic, but NBA Twitter is pretty ruthless and cold. But the thing about the Warriors, and people, you guys in the chat roasted me for saying it. I'm going to say it again. They should have traded Curry. They should trade Steph Curry. like when Curry is on, he's on the downslide. He's past the 9th hole. He's on the 11th, 12th hole, 13th hole. Like he's on the back 9. How many more good years does Curry have left? And he's going to be playing with Jonathan Kuminga. Like that's going to be his running mate is Jonathan Kuminga. Like it's just going to spiral. It's just going to go down, down, down. I mean, I would 100% look to move Curry and find value and hit the reset button. But the problem is you've got Steve Kerr and Steph Curry who aren't interested in a rebuild. They're at the tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
So you make a play for Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant says, forget it. I'm not going back to play with you guys. I hate you two. So like he's not going there.
Right.
Wow. Dude, you fired me for suggesting the Celtics. I suggested the Celtics to get Steph.
Yeah, I don't think they need him.
Oh, come on. It's Steph Curry. Everybody needs Steph Curry. Boston would never get him because the two franchises hate each other. Boston's not doing a trade with the Warriors.
Yeah.
That's not happening. But I think it's so interesting to see, like Kevin Durant, why can't this guy stick anywhere? Like he constantly, every couple of years, he's on the move. And he shifts the odds because he's such a great scorer. Whenever he goes somewhere, he changes things. And like everybody thought LeBron one day would wind up in Boston. Like that was like
really?
Yeah, because it's either the Knicks or the Celtics, because he's played for the Cavaliers. Not obviously not anymore. He played for the Lakers, but like the theory was he would wind up going to play for an East Coast power because he's a student of the game and he wants to wear, some historic. He went to the Lakers. He went to the other side of the country and played with LA. Durant playing with the Celtics seems to make a lot of sense, just to end his career with Boston and go and chase a ring. Like, see what happens. But yeah, Jimmy can't stay with it. Butler can't stay with the team either. And Butler nobody wants Jimmy Butler just because of the way that he has handled this situation. You can't get suspended 3 times. Just stop showing up, miss team planes, get into fights with coaches and owners. And it's really bad. Yeah, the Suns getting Jimmy Butler would make a lot of sense. But who are you giving up? It would have to be Kevin Durant, you would think. But is Miami that much better when Kevin Durant goes there? I mean, great coach, not a great roster.
I don't know.
Against the Celtics and the Cavs. Good luck, Miami.
I saw this summer the best Kevin Durant in recent history.
In the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he
motivated.
didn't have to be the one, but can be the one anytime.
Right.
But when he has help and can distribute, I was like, that's KD. There was a game that he took over and won, and there was another game where he deferred to LeBron and they won. And, they got pushed by Jokic and what was it, Croatia?
Croatia,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it Croatia or Serbia? I can't remember.
I don't know. I
Right.
can't remember, but whoever it was, I mean, they got
Yeah.
pushed in those games, and I really thought that, wow, all right, Durant's got it figured out, and then Phoenix doesn't have it figured out.
No, the Beal whole thing didn't work. He couldn't stay healthy.
No.
So the three-headed monster, Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant and Booker, never really materialized into doing what they thought it was going to look like in Phoenix. And they made some changes, some trades. No, the Lakers don't have enough for Durant. No, they can't afford it. But that would be hell of a three-legged monster. Like, to have that, Luka, LeBron, would be unbelievable. But I mean, Durant
Serbia,
right now.
by the way, Serbia. Vinko said it was Serbia.
We've got he said we are bad. Serbia, we are bad, meaning Serbia stinks. It wasn't Serbia.
Oh, so it was Croatia.
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
I can't remember. Wow. Okay.
No, it was Serbia. Yeah, it was Serbia. You're right. It was Serbia. Yeah, it was Serbia. What do you mean you're bad? I don't get that. What do you mean? You had
He's not in Serbia. Croatia is bad. Vinko's in Croatia.
Oh, he's in Croatia. Okay,
yes,
thank you, Vinko.
Serbia, we are bad.
I misunderstood the way you were saying.
Croatia's
Thank you very much.
bad. Yes. Croatia's good in team handball.
Using Luka as a trade guy to help give up Pritchard to number one. Yes. Yes. If that's all you need is to go get a 6'1" white guy shooter and a first round pick to get Kevin Durant. Yes. You go and do exactly. I love your thinking, CBW. If that's all Boston, if Brad Stevens has to give up that to get Kevin Durant, that's, I mean, you say yes before the full sentence is out of the mouth. We want Pritchard and a first. Yes. Like, 100%.
It's incredible.
If that, he's right. Using that as the barometer would be crazy. That can't be. I guarantee you this: Kevin Durant will go for more than what Luka went for with the Mavericks. That trade still makes no sense. It's still really difficult. So Luka's a fat drunk. So what? He's a first team All NBA as a fat drunk. Like, you don't trade him. Why? Because you don't want to pay him? That's what you're worried? I mean, they have refunded a bunch of season tickets.
Yeah. How about that?
Like, they're refunding a bunch of season tickets.
Mavericks reportedly refund season ticket holders after Luka Doncic trade.
If you're mad,
I'm good with that.
I like it too, but people are saying that that's the Machiavellian move to move to Vegas.
Stop all that nonsense. They ain't moving Dallas Mavericks here.
The Dallas Mavericks media believe this is happening. This is a main talking point today in Dallas right now, that the ownership. Now, I don't believe this number, okay, but social media, who knows? They make shit up all the time. But they're claiming that up to 60% of people who are ticket holders are refunding or getting their refunds from ownership.
It's like hitting the cash out button on a losing bet to equate it to a sportsbook app. I know I can't win. I'm going to get aggravated going. I like to go see Luka. I was hoping he was coming back, and we had another run to the championship. I don't want to go to the games no more. Give me my money back. I commend them for doing it. I've been a season ticket holder for a bad team in Pittsburgh back in the day. I love the games, and I was happy to see the visiting teams. I knew the team was bad. It was frustrating, and then I saw them start to get better, and I believed if they would have traded Mario Lemieux, I would have never bought another ticket.
Wow.
That was, we knew he was there, and they were putting the pieces around him. It took a while, but it worked. They got to the finals last year and then shipped him out. Give me the money back. I like the move, but they're not moving to Vegas. Do you think they're moving to Vegas?
I think that there is probably a 15% chance that is the move for the NBA. We're going to get expansion here in Vegas. That's happening.
The only way.
That's
we're
happening.
Getting a crap franchise like the A's.
I don't know, because I think the marketplace, Adam Silver has seen what has happened with the Raiders and soon to be what happened with the A's. I think there'd be some concern about putting a franchise here because, well, people go to the Knights because the Knights win. people go to the Raiders because the other team's fans buy tickets and come on in. We'll see how long that lasts when the novelty of coming to Vegas wears off over, 3-5 years, whatever. I think there'd be a fear of putting a bad team in Vegas. Like, you need to compete with the Knights. You'd be in the same building, most likely. Like, Foley is really making a strong case that building another arena is a dumb thing to do. And unless it's going to be 100% privately financed, that it's stupid to build another arena in Vegas. And it's hard to argue.
He's right.
He is right. I mean, he's making the right point, right? Saying, like, what do you mean? Like, why do we need another arena when they built T-Mobile for 2 teams? And you can go and just take the schedule. There's numerous, multi-use facilities across the country that are NBA and NHL. And you just make sure you piece it together and you make sure it works. UFC will have their events and boxing will have their events, and you just make it happen and it works.
It's a brand new arena. It's great for basketball. We've been there many times. I love it for basketball. Saw some really big college games, went to the Pac-12 tournament there multiple times. It's a good venue for basketball. They got the NBA Cup there. It works great. It looks great on TV.
It does.
The hotels, everything's right. I mean, it is like
Perfect.
Doing it again further down to 15 or whatever. It's silly. There's no need to
Plus
do
the
it.
money you got to spend. I mean, the infrastructure
Right.
you're going to build and all the things you're going to ask for the city and the state in Clark County to come in and say, all right, we need your roads. We need your sewers. We need the water. We need everything to help build this thing. So we need a lot of money from you guys, and taxpayers, at least here, are pretty much like, we're done. Like, build it yourself. If you want it, we're not going to be involved. And that's why T-Mobile, Bill Foley wants $300 million to increase T-Mobile, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's not that much money. And so you get that facility upgraded he wants more suites. He wants some more amenities that are around the NHL and around at the NBA.
Whether it's self-serving or not, and some people might say that,
it is
self-serving.
Of course it is. But he wants to buy the team. He wants to be part of the ownership group to build.
Of course he does.
That brings an NBA team here.
Of course, that would be, very beneficial for him and the Knights. Like, if we diversify everything, of course. But just logistically, they don't need to have our own arena. I don't think so.
Agreed.
But
Dallas media believes the team is tanking on purpose and the team is giving all the money back, so there's no revenue, so they can go to Adam Silver and say, we want to go to Vegas. I don't buy it either.
I don't think so. That would be, I would be shocked. I mean, Dallas is a big city. There's a lot going on in Dallas.
But it's not. I mean, anyone who lives there will tell you it's a football town.
Well, it always is, and it always will be. But still, the Mavericks are an established part of that whole ecosystem. I don't even know what to call it. They're part of the city. Just to pick up and go, trade the star player, and then tank. And now we have an out. We're going to go. Look, Adam, what do you think?
The Adelson family is tied to Vegas. They're the owners of the team. That's why this is a reality, because the Adelsons can do a deal with the Foleys.
Yeah.
I mean, Miriam Adelson, her husband's passed away now for 6-7 years. Like, she's involved with this, and she may say, hey, move the team to Vegas. I'd rather have the team be in my backyard. I'd rather not have to deal with it. So it's, teams in Dallas. They thought they were going to get a casino. They thought they were getting sports gambling. We have a story in sports gambling here in just 1 second.
Coming up.
But, maybe this would help, because, as I said yesterday, until Dan Patrick changes, we're not seeing sports gambling being legalized. Well, Dan Patrick runs the Senate. The governor of Texas came out yesterday and said he's supporting legalized sports gambling in the state. Now, in Dallas, they're saying that's really coincidental that we're talking about the Mavericks moving, and all of a sudden here comes the governor saying we're going to support legalized sports gambling in the state. Right. But the problem is he has no real power. Dan Patrick, who runs the Senate, he has to bring the bill. How the Texas, how they're it's a weird deal in Texas. But Patrick's got to bring the bill to the floor, and nothing goes to the floor unless Dan Patrick wants it to. And up to this point, Dan Patrick has said nothing, no sports gambling, no casinos, nothing in Texas.
I think it's a ways off, just from the people that I talked to, and saw that story listed on the rundown, and I went, I mean, it's great to say it. It's a long way off.
I mean,
Joe the Fat Panda just came in the chat, said New Orleans, Orlando, Charlotte would all move before Dallas. Can't disagree.
Do the owners of those three teams want to move? That's the point.
Right. I don't know.
New Orleans is small, but they've got Zion, so they built that brand new facility for them. So there's lease deals and whatnot that are in place. Orlando has Paulo, and they've got a fan base growing. Charlotte's a mess, so yes, you can move Charlotte if you want, but that's a basketball state. North
Right.
Carolina is basketball central, so I don't know. Yes, I would agree,
Johnny Parlay.
I agree.
I'd bet NBA will have a team in Vegas before the A's get here in 2028. You think so?
Only if we're doing expansion. You can do it right now with the NBA. You play at T-Mobile Arena. You don't have to wait. Now, I know there's some CBA conversations going on, but I think it's 2027 for the CBA with the NBA that you could have a team playing in 2027 here in Vegas. So who wants to pay? I think it's like $50 million, the fee, just to get the team, and then everything else with salaries and everything else.
A lot more than that.
So it's
a lot more than that.
No, you have to pay the league for the team itself. Then there's an expansion fee you pay on top of that. I don't know what that is with the expansion fee. Somebody look that up. What the NBA expansion team is. Exactly.
I want to shout out Pat Kennedy. He watches the show every night. Primetime wins on Twitter. He's commenting and gave us a shout out. It said, I watch on the Roku channel. You and Matt are really good together. Most of the guests are good too. Your topics are solid. I look forward to watching. At the end of each day, thanks for the shows.
Very cool.
Shout him out real quick while we're still on.
Very nice.
Because he's watching.
The quote, in case you guys are curious, from the Houston Chronicle, Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, said, I don't really have a problem with online sports betting. The reality is I'd be shocked if there were not some Texans that already do it. I did a spit take when
Fair.
I go, there are some Texans that are doing it already? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, okay, Gov.
Allegedly.
Can you not sound that naive? I know what you're trying to say, but come on, dude.
Oh, it's not sounding naive. He's saying it. I like it. He's right.
There's some. I don't know. You're a state of 39 million. I'm going to say that probably 10 million people are betting on things at times.
I don't know the number, but I'm sure it's something.
Coming to Vegas, dropping money in some casino, driving up to Oklahoma. I mean, WinStar advertises in Dallas, like the number 2 advertiser in the city. Come on, man.
Got to go to that place sometime.
WinStar? Sure. I'd love to.
Never been.
Never been.
But apparently that's the place. I've heard a lot of stories and met a lot of guys that did some business there.
Right.
Have done business there and go there to have fun. So Joe the Fat Panda, half of Bovada is probably from Texas. Probably a lot of people in Texas doing it. So
are we ready for a world that Rick Pitino is going to be back in the national championship conversation?
You watch that game yesterday?
St. John's is damn good.
Very good.
Really good.
Yeah.
They're 11-1 in the Big East.
Yeah.
They're back. They are back. Rick Pitino, he is, look, in my lifetime, he's the greatest college basketball coach of my lifetime.
Ooh.
I mean, everywhere he goes. Now he's got a whole checkered past off the court that all sorts of issues.
Yep.
Keep him out of Italian restaurants. But he's, as a basketball mind, when he did at Kentucky, he's not great in the NBA. He's like Calipari and other guys. He sucks in the NBA, and he sucked at my team. He buried the Celtics. But Rick Pitino in college, at Providence, at Kentucky, at Louisville, and now St. John's, all he does is win. That's all he does.
It was a very physical game. I was watching it and going, these teams are both going to be hard outs in the tournament. But
Phil Jackson,
I don't know.
College, Johnny Parlay? Where did Phil Jackson coach in college that is even close to what Pitino's record is? I said college. I don't know. Izzo's great, but Pitino's record is better than Izzo's. I mean, in terms of number, it has been amazing at Michigan State. Not knocking it, but Rick Pitino's done it at multiple schools.
I think that's what the difference is, right?
Yeah.
Like Roy Williams did it at 2 schools.
Yes.
Bobby Knight did it at 1.5. I mean, whatever Texas Tech was at the end. But
right.
Dean Smith did it pretty good in North Carolina, one school. So, yeah, I mean, him doing it multiple times in multiple places, big schools, small schools, Big East, SEC. No, SEC, Kentucky. I mean, it's crazy.
5-time SEC tournament champion, 2-time Conference USA tournament champion, ACC tournament champion, MAC tournament champion. Like he's won at every level. America East tournament
CBW
champion.
just put in there, said this will be Pitino's 5th school to go to the NCAA tournament.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I said tournament. I always say tournament, but it said tourney, and I said
tournament. That's all.
Yeah, I don't say it like that.
I say tourist and tournament.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
He's 72 years old.
Tourist.
He's 72.
He looks good for 72.
72
Team looks good.
Team
No
looks
joke.
Phenomenal. And he's got money backing him now. I mean, money backing him.
NYC money too.
Look,
City.
I grew up, going to the Mullen Center. The Mullen Center at UMass, we used to play at the Curry Hicks Cage. Rick Pitino was the point guard for Dr. J at UMass. So there's pictures of Dr. J and pictures of Rick Pitino. Like big, they never played together. If my memory serves me correctly, Pitino didn't play together with Dr. J because freshmen weren't allowed to play in college.
Oh,
when Pitino was a freshman, Dr. J was in his last year of college, and then Dr. J went to the pros. But they practiced a lot, and they played at Curry Hicks Cage, which was a 2,000-seat facility that was like literally a high school gym. Like it was seriously embarrassing. And then Calipari started there, and Calipari and Rick Pitino have always had a lot of friction between the two of them because of UMass.
Okay.
So because Rick played there, Cal coached there. Rick never went back to UMass. UMass people tried to get him to come back over and over again. They've tried to get Pitino to go back to UMass, and every time he said no. And Cal went, and then Cal got the money and the booster money to build the Mullen Center, which is where they play now, which is at the time was a state-of-the-art facility, not so much anymore. But Pitino's career for me has always been wild to watch because he's always been doing things that are somewhat questionable. But he's always won. Like when he gets to the court, he always wins. And it's just, I can't wait to see what this team does in March. And look, the Creighton Blue Jays tonight, we'll talk about it in Better to Book It in bonus time, but the Jays play tonight. The Jays win. The Jays are 10-2, 11-1, 10-2. First place, second place in the Big East. Like this is going to be fun to watch and see how it unfolds because Marquette's now got 3 losses. They're now 9-3.
Right.
And the last month, February, last 3 weeks of February for the Big East is going to be an absolute war. It's going to be
good.
Awesome. It's going to be awesome.
It's getting good. This is, I'm telling you guys, if you're, just football guys, like, and you can't relate to the NBA, grab onto some college basketball and just watch some games. Like, the Michigan State UCLA game last night was great.
Yeah.
That was just another fun basketball game.
Our guy
Arizona kind of took care of BYU.
Our boy Alan Bell got hooked in that game.
Yeah.
He laid 2.5.
Ouch.
They only made 2.
Ouch.
Like, son of a gun.
It came down to the end. It was really, it was an entertaining game. There's college basketball on every night.
Oh.
Like you can kind of, watch, and if you're betting in game,
we'll throw 2 games at you right now. You can watch. You can watch Duke at Syracuse.
Nobody's watching this. Not even CBW.
They're 7-1 ATS, Dave. Syracuse can 100% hang with Duke tonight and keep this game within 17 points.
You think so?
Syracuse is at home. Yes, this is worth watching. 100% worth watching. Duke has been at times on the road not great. They've killed people at home, but on the road, it's big favorites. They take a break. They relax a little bit.
Man,
18.5. Did you look at that? Take that.
Are we going for a Syracuse sponsorship here or something? Or like you're pumping their tires up pretty good here.
7-1, 7-1, man, making money. And then the best game of the night is Tennessee, Missouri. It's a war tonight.
Yeah.
SEC battle.
I still think the Bobby Moe game
No,
is
I
important.
hate Syracuse, Nick Tom. I hate Syracuse. I've hated Syracuse since my days in college. Do you know how many Syracuse graduates I've worked with in my career? Do you know how the cult of Newhouse, how it exists? And they will tell you about the cult of Newhouse.
Yeah,
It's nauseating.
you're
So
right.
no, I am not pro Syracuse by any means.
Illinois Rutgers,
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
West Virginia TCU,
Decent game.
Arkansas Texas. No,
No.
Nebraska Washington.
Yuck. That's Big Ten basketball for you right there.
What? Nebraska's favorite. How bad is Washington?
Bad.
Nebraska's favorite on the road.
Bad. Yeah, Nebraska. I mean, they lost 6 straight games, so they got to kind of figure things out.
Right. Get
They
us
got-
out here and get us the bonus time.
Yeah.
It's that time.
Hold on 1 second on that. Yes. So if you guys are watching live, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Stay, don't move. If you're watching on a replay, we always love you guys leaving comments for us on YouTube or on Twitter or whatnot. Tell us that you're watching on the replay crew. We always love to see who's watching and where you're watching on top of that.
Yes.
If you guys are with us live, don't move. You guys are getting us right now with bonus time. Okay. You can respectfully disagree. That's fine. You can take that. So who would you say he's in college basketball? Rick Pitino. Like, show me a resume that's better than Pitino's in college basketball. I'm 47. I was born in 1977. He's 72 years old. I mean,
It's a good discussion. I mean,
5 teams in the NCAA tournament, and he could potentially go back to another Final Four. I mean, it's
can have a difference of opinion.
of course, yeah. He's been to I'm trying to see how many Final Fours has he been here. He's been he's only been the John Wooden Coach of the Year once, which is kind of wild, but that's what in 87. He was the coach of the year.
With Providence?
87, yeah, with Providence.
Wow.
Yeah. So NCAA tournament champion 2 times in 96 and 2013. Been in the Final Four. This is ridiculous. 87, 93, 96, 97, 2005, 2012, 2013.
7 times.
That's ridiculous. 2-time national champion, 7 Final Fours. And he's coached at Providence, Kentucky, Louisville, Iona, and St. John's now. Took Iona to the tournament.
Yep.
like, wait, what?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Providence went to the Final Four in 87. Yep. That's where he got on the map. That's where everyone was like, who the fuck is Providence? Where are they coming from? It was because of Pitino.
Right.
Put him on the map out of the Big East. It was amazing to see. Auriemma, I'm talking about men, but Auriemma is maybe the greatest coach of my life, basketball-wise, period. But it's hard because the level of competition is not like just in the last 10 years, women's basketball became like nationwide competitive. He got like the 3 best players of all time and went and killed people. Like every year he had 3 best recruits. Like it wasn't really fair.
Right.
So I have a hard time. Auriemma's great, but like the sport itself creates some debate as to where it is. But yes, Gino Auriemma's, but those 23 Final Fours, they like woke up in the Sweet 16. Like they weren't really pushed at UConn.
I mean, there were tournaments where they started with 16.
Right. Right.
You only had to win 2 games to get to the Final Four.
Good point. Right.
You know, it's since expanded, but
great point. Yep, that's a great point. They only had 16 with that. I was not alive for John Wooden. I'm sorry.
CBW, you were.
I was not
fine.
I was not alive.
All right.
I wish I was.
Yes.
But I was not alive for
Can't wait
that
to
to
meet
happen.
this guy, CBW. We definitely got to go to New York and see this guy.
That's
See how
too
far
good.
he'll drive to come. Well, I ain't coming to Syracuse to do a show.
God,
CBW,
that's far.
But if we get close,
Right.
you got to come.
Yeah. Better to book it. All right. I'm done. And I've been riding him. I'm done. I bet against the Jays when they lost to Georgetown by 24. Since that loss for Georgetown, the Creighton Blue Jays are 9-1-1 ATS.
That's good.
They are red hot. They're the hottest team in the country against the spread. They win tonight. They stay 1 game behind St. John's. They beat Providence by 20 at home. I know, and I heard, I mentioned you on the juice last night because you're in my fucking head. I know what you're saying. You're supposed to bet Providence here because why they beat them by 20. Why is it only 3.5? I just said, screw it. I bet.
Did you mention me by name? Because somebody sent me a clip that you keep saying my co-host on my other show.
I say it at times, Dave Sheriff. I mean, people know who you are. It's two separate streams. So it's like one is one show and one is a different show.
So I'm like, wait, he said what? I always say his name on Sundays with Moose. I always say his name.
Well,
why would I say my co-host?
I do say Dave Sheriff all the time, but I've said I can't say you 3 times during the week. It would sound like I'm just like reiterating things. But I've said
that's fine.
You're in my head. My co-host on BVB is in my head saying I'm supposed to bet Providence here. I'm not.
I don't think so.
Oh, good.
I don't think so. I think this is a bet. This is crazy because I don't know who's watching the show right now.
Yeah.
But 7 books just moved this number to either 3.5 or to 4.
Oh, wow.
In the it's lit up green on the odds screen. So it's literally just whatever case we just made. I mean, we shut down Robinhood for goodness sake the day before. So we got the line move on the Creighton game.
Alex
This
must
is a
be
bet.
so proud. I was like, if I'm Alex Kane, I'm so proud of myself. I went on and I literally had the federal government get involved. Although, according to one person who sent me a screenshot, I guess Kalshi, not Robinhood, but Kalshi still has the market up for the Super Bowl.
They do right now.
So what's the difference? Like Robinhood's not going to book the bear,
Crypto
but
didn't
Kalshi,
answer the phone. Like that
Kalshi is?
crypto.com, whatever. They didn't answer the phone. They kept it up too. Robinhood said, hold on a second. Maybe we should take it down. So I don't know. But yeah, this is a bet. This is a bet.
I can't wait to watch this game. If the Jays can stay one game behind St. John's, they got to go to St. John's on the 15th, I think, of February.
Total's low.
Providence
Total's only
plays
141 or 140.5.
Yeah. So I'm doing
They
a lot
better
of
make their shots.
The Jays?
Yeah.
Well, they did against Providence in Omaha, but yes, on the road. The Dunk, I mean, and Chef Benny will tell you this because he's been to these games just like I have at the Dunk, or whatever they call it now. It's not the Dunkin' Donuts Center anymore, but now it's something else. But Providence at home is a house of horrors for the Jays. It has been.
Oh.
But not against Kim English, against Ed Cooley. Coach Mack has really owned Kim English. So the Jays are hot. I'm going to roll with their bench has been playing so well. And Kalkbrenner might be the national player of the year. It's ridiculous. Like he's 7-1 and nobody can stop him at the rim. He just turns and scores. Like it's not fair. It's like watching a junior in high school play against 8th graders. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's called the AMP now. Thank you, Chef Benny. Oh, you were going to go with no baby, man. Speak my language. No baby.
Welcome to life.
Welcome to my life. I haven't.
It's very difficult.
Dave's like, you want to go to the waste management? Yes. Can you go? No. I want to go, but I can't go. I got the kid. I hear that. I'm the same level. Georgia has not gone over yet in an SEC game.
Dear Lord.
9-0 to the under in the SEC. KenPom has us at 137. Yesterday, same play. It was 148.5 for that game with St. John's and Marquette. Couldn't figure out why it was as high as it was. KenPom had it at 140. Never came close to going over. Same logic. Georgia under 142. Actually, 142.5. Sorry. I put the wrong note. It's 142.5. Sorry.
I will say, I guess bet it. I don't really have a strong opinion about it.
This is going to be an ugly game. This is going to be an ugly game. Yeah,
I will not glance at this one at all.
This is an ugly game. And then over 134 for Tennessee and Missouri. Look, I hate going against our guy's second chance points, but he likes the under. I get why. Tennessee's been an under team. They just held Florida to 44 points.
Yeah.
But Jim Root and I were going back and forth. He likes the under. I played the over just because Tennessee at home has been more of an over team, and this is the lowest total for a Missouri game this year, and the second lowest total for a Tennessee game this year. I think we hit the basement.
I'll say this is a book it. I like the under. I'm
I
good
get
with
why.
going under 134.
I get why. And then finally, I'm on Syracuse. Give me plus 17.5. Give me Cuse at home. Let's go.
dear Lord, how are they going to score enough? I mean, I guess they could score enough to cover this, but this is going to be ugly. I'd say this is a bet, square as could be. Lay it. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's going to be on it with Duke. Wait, how is taking Syracuse square? Everyone's going to bet Duke. Duke just beat North Carolina by 100.
I said lay 17.5 is square.
Yeah, okay.
I'll say we'll go with the favorite.
Going to the Waste Management on Sunday before the Super Bowl, greens keep passes were $400 cheaper than Saturday. How about that? Nobody wants to go on Super Bowl Sunday.
Stay tuned to Juice. Let you know.
Down
there. I got a call yesterday about inquiring about whether we would want to go do the 16th hole and all that. And all that other stuff.
I would love to do it.
I was like, pause, hold on.
You asked me a week ago, I might have been able to swing it, but
these things just pop up sometimes.
I know.
It's just our lives right now.
Favorite thing about today is what?
Pretty simple. There's a thing called the National Girls and Women's in Sports Day today.
Okay.
And I am living proof of one, surviving in an ocean of estrogen, but my whys, are my wife and daughters. And today is a day I've already been on the phone with them multiple times. They had questions. My one daughter, Kelsey, texted me this morning and said, who's going to win the Super Bowl? And I'm like, why? My teacher has it as extra credit on this quiz.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, well, who do you think is going to win? She said, that's why I'm asking you. In a text, we're going back and forth. And I said, well, I think Philly's going to win. And she said, well, I was going to say the Chiefs. And I said, well, then say the Chiefs. She's like, yeah, but And I'm like, I literally typed, Kels, nobody knows shit. This is a hard game. I think the Eagles are going to win, but I don't know. I said, where's the teacher from? She's like, from here. I said, say the Eagles. He's probably an Eagles fan. Maybe he'll give you the extra credit anyway. But it reminded me of, them. Sports has been a part of their lives since they've been born because of the line of work I'm in. Their mother played softball for a year in college, but played softball and volleyball and everything growing up. I played all the sports too. And to have two girls, we had a very special day on Sunday. After a very long weekend in North Carolina, we got the text that they were both in the lineup for the first time ever in college. Batting fifth, playing center field, Kylie. Batting seventh, playing right field, Kelsey. So Jess was at work. We called each other and said, can you believe this? This is great. This is unbelievable, this and that. Kylie stepped up to the plate in her first at-bat on Sunday, worked the count to 3-1, and hit an opposite field home run. And
laser.
I mean, a rocket. She was looking for the pitch. She got it. She killed it. And the first one at home plate, out of the dugout celebrating, was her sister. I'm home screaming like a maniac. Grandma came running over, said, what's wrong? I said, Kylie just hit a home run. I was crying. Called Jessica. She's crying. I said, can you believe this? National Girls and Women's Sports and Women in Sports Day today. My favorite thing about today is that I got 3, thank God, healthy kids, but they play sports. They're into sports and they're girls and growing into women. And it was just it's just a tremendous day. And I got to give them props for today.
Very, very cool. That's awesome. Rich, thank you for being here. I have not seen your name before, but
Rich, maybe.
Yeah. But Dave appeared on Alan Bell's show, Driving the Line, and then I appeared on it yesterday as well.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what Coach did or did not do, but if you have a chance to support Alan, do that because he's a hardworking dude doing a very similar thing that we're doing. We have a lot of similar thoughts and our missions are very similar with our shows. There's a lot of great crossover between the shows, and his show is on much earlier than ours. It's 7 a.m. on the Pacific time. So it's, he's on way earlier than ours.
I told him he's the morning show. We're the afternoon show.
Fair. I mean, there's a lot of truth to it. If I was building a network, that's what 2 people I'd call is him to do the mornings, us do the afternoon drive. Like,
yep.
That's what, very similar types of philosophies in the way we approach things and how we talk about games and how we talk about the audiences and why we do it and how we do it. It's very similar. So I wish nothing but the best for Alan Bell and whatever you can do, Rich, to help spread the word for him and the word for us. do that for sure. We'd really appreciate it because I want to see Alan Bell succeed as much as possible. He's been on this show every time, and I love whenever he comes on. This is not my favorite thing about today, but I just wanted to kind of pass this along because we've spent a lot of time talking about people going through shit and going through tough times. When I got to Alabama, one of the first success stories that I ever heard of was from Ace and TJ. And if you guys are in the Charlotte region, you probably know Ace and TJ. They spent 20 years on the air together doing radio, doing mornings for a hot pop station, I think at one time, and then adult contemporary later. But that was always like Ace and TJ got the gig, they got the big job, and they moved on, and they got the break everybody was looking for. And everyone talked about how Ace and TJ did it, and they were the standard that everyone tried to live up to. Well, one of the guys passed away yesterday. Ace, David Cannon, passed away. They did not disclose why he passed away. There's been some speculation. He left the show suddenly in September, kind of stunned everybody when Ace and TJ broke up because they've been doing 20 years of content together and 20 years of shows, and they had to rebrand everything. And he passed away yesterday at the age of 56. I don't know what happened. I just know it stunned everybody that he's no longer with us. People can go through some really tough times and demon dark times. And if you have somebody in your life that may be going through it, he went through a divorce last year. It may or may not have contributed to some level of unhappiness or however what was going on with him. But it took my breath away this morning when I saw the report that he had passed away, because I only met them once, but I just remember how much we all looked up to them and what they were able to accomplish in the broadcasting space and building shows and building content and building audiences. And then when someone passes away suddenly at 56, it's like, whoa, it's a quick reminder about, well, how old I am and also, what people are going through. So again, we often tell you that someone's going through something, reach out to us, pick up the phone, send a text message, just check in on your loved ones, because you never know what might be happening.
You really don't.
Going on.
It can't hurt. I mean, and sometimes they're not ready to talk or they just say nothing's wrong. But if you have that feeling, it's the worst that can happen. Leave a voicemail, send a text. It's just that's what we do. I got to ask you this because I forgot during Bet It or Book It. 3 hockey games today. Rangers minus $2 and change against the Bruins at home. Edmonton on the road at Chicago minus 280 or so. And the Kings, which the jersey I'm wearing today, at home minus 240. 3 hockey games, chalk.
All big, right? 3-leg parlay.
Can't lose.
Right.
I don't think it does. Honest to God. Like, I don't
agree.
really say that all the time.
Yep.
But this is a 3-game hockey parlay. Put it together.
The Rangers opened up at 160. It's been bet up to 220. Like, no one's betting the Bruins tonight. Like, it's all Ranger money coming in tonight on that game. It's why I didn't put it on the rundown. I was like, what are we going to talk about? 3 massive dogs? They're all going to get smoked tonight in the NHL.
Yeah.
Who has the best chance to cover, to win the game outright?
The Bruins.
Oh, God. I don't know. The way they're playing right now, I don't know.
I think it's chalk.
Bruins are playing like crap.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, get to the Nation 4 tournament, please. Like, get to that and then reset the whole season.
You get the rest of the week. That's it.
Yeah. And then we have 2 weeks off, right?
10 days or so.
10
I
days.
think they're going to give them like maybe a full 2 weeks. I didn't look at the
Matthew
date.
Tkachuk's talking like that they may go, that like Team USA is going there to kick someone's ass. He said it's not. He goes, this ain't an all-star game. He's like, we're not going there to play all-star hockey. We're going there to play hockey.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I might watch this. This might be fun.
If they play it like that, it's going to be great. Like, great to watch.
I
Telling
agree.
you. Like in the Caribbean World Series this afternoon, by the way. I'm going to watch a little baseball too.
Oh.
There's a Caribbean World Series. That'll be on.
Where are they playing that? Costa Rica? Or not? I mean,
no, they're playing in Dominican Republic.
Dominican. In the
Yeah.
DR. Okay. Wow.
Those people have fun at those games, man.
Soto, that's the tournament that they exposed Soto for, right? That he was in the dugout. That he was supposed to have been at. He was supposed to have been at a media event in New York, and the Mets put out and said Juan Soto was unavailable due to a travel problem.
Oh,
he was in the dugout, and they're like, "What are you talking about? He's at the game. Like, he just didn't want to go back to New York."
Oh, Johnny said they're in Mexico. I thought they were in the Dominican Republic, but
Thank you.
it's good stuff. Oh,
They're playing in Tijuana. Oh my!
Wow. Okay.
Where are they staying? They're playing in Tijuana. Okay.
Probably staying in San Diego.
One of the more, and going back and forth every day. Doubt it. Not with this administration. Doubt it. Not with what's going on right now at the border. I don't think they'd be going back and forth. Maybe they have exemptions or something, but you're asking for that. They're in Cancun. Oh, they're in Cancun.
Know.
Okay, that's cool. That's different. Playing Mexicali. Okay, you guys are both arguing with each other. One says Cancun and Mexicali are in. Well, I guess Cancun's all the way down to the end, right? Cancun's all the way down on the tip of Mexicali.
No, that's Cabo.
Oh, it's Cabo. Thank you. Cancun's on the other side.
Right.
Sorry, Cancun's on the other side.
Cancun's, yeah.
The other side of the country. Okay. Yeah. My geography. Okay. Fake news. Sorry, bad reporting.
Come on, Nick, Tom.
Guys, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you to Chris Andrews. That was a really fun interview. Thank you to the guys at the locker room for stopping on by over in New Jersey, live on Radio Row. Tomorrow, we'll have more covering the Super Bowl, more breaking things down. It should be a lot of fun. Who knows? Derek Stevens might stop by tomorrow. Who knows?
Supposed to.
From Circa. Lots to come tomorrow for our Thursdays. BVB.